Alright guys, welcome back to another Outriders video. I'm going to bring you 10 tips and tricks that I wish I would have known when I started playing Outriders that would have helped quite a bit. So I'm going to share those with you today to hopefully help you not make the same mistakes I did. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first tip I wanted to go over here was mods, and how to tell whether or not you already have it as part of your collection or if it's been changed on your weapon. So the little square here tells you whether or not it's part of your collection. So we have Brain Eater already added. We've already broken down a weapon that's had Brain Eater on it. And then the tool icon here means that we've actually applied that to this sniper. So it had a different perk, we didn't like that, we put Brain Eater on it instead. We can only modify this perk slot now, so we can switch out Brain Eater for anything else, but we cannot switch out Ultimate Bone Shrapnel. Now Ultimate Bone Shrapnel, because it doesn't have either one of those symbols, we don't have it as part of our perk or our mod library. So what we can do is if we get something in the future that's better than this gun, or that we want this perk to go onto, we can break this down. It'll add Ultimate Bone Shrapnel 3 to our mod library, and then we can modify whatever the new weapon is. We can get rid of the perk we don't want and put Ultimate Bone Shrapnel on there, or whatever perk you want to use. So mods are super useful. You definitely want to be paying attention to what's on your weapons, what's on your armor, and make sure you have the best stuff on there. Okay, so while we're on our trickster here, we deposited a couple of weapons in the stash. We're going to take those out. We can quick mark it all, and then anything that had a mod, we were only able to get 2 mods out of the 2 purples actually, that we didn't have unlocked already. I've already done this once, so you can see all these ones that we already have mods unlocked for, and then these 2 purples we'll be able to add those. So now we'll be able to use those on our trickster, and we didn't have to wait until we got a purple that had them already. We can just grab those from another character. It's not a big deal. We weren't going to use those over there anyway. And then for the armor, again, same thing would apply, but you won't get any character-specific mods. They don't change once you pull them out. So my blighted rounds from my Technomancer will not turn into Twisted Fate or Twisted Rounds perks when I pull them out for the Trickster. They're going to remain as blighted rounds. So that armor is not really going to do me any good, but you can modify it. So if you get a really good second perk on purple armor, you can then change whatever that one is that's character specific to something that's going to benefit your character. Alright, so the next tip I want to talk about is using these hunt missions for farming. So this I've already used and made a video on, but I'll just briefly go over it again. So you want to grab this mission, go over to the hunt area, and you're gonna fight the boss, but you're gonna either abandon the quest if you kill everything, or you're going to quit out to the menu before you kill everything. Make sure you loot, and come back in and do it again. And from there, you're guaranteed 2 purples every time. I've never not gotten at least 2 purples, and I've actually gotten a legendary out of it before. And as you progress the world tiers, the chances for that go up as well. Let's see what we can get out of this one. And 1, 2, just like that. So from here you can decide to go to the menu, but from here you can just constantly farm those. You can actually level up quite a bit from doing that. I've already got a big chunk for my world tier 13 here. So the main thing though is you can use that to farm your epics, your purples, and you can even get legendaries out of them like I said earlier. And you don't have to just farm this spot. This is just my favorite spot to do it. There are any other hunt you can do that you haven't already completed. You can farm that spot. Hunts are going to be better than the bounties, just because I believe you have to turn in the bounties in order to get the reward. So doing the hunts is going to be a lot more beneficial for you. Alright, now for this tip, we're going to talk about some ammo buffs real quick. So I'm a Technomancer, so of course I'm doing the blighted rounds build. Every other class has a very similar ammo buff. So this is applicable to everybody except for I think the Devastator doesn't. Alright, so here's a quick look at some of the mods that I like to use for my Technomancer. These are going to be specific to the Technomancer, but there are variations for each of the different characters, depending on what rounds they use. So the Reforging Bullets is going to be a sub-mod, so you're going to use that if you don't have Brain Eater yet. Extra Bullet's a good substitute if you don't have Perpetual Mobile yet, or Toxic Lead, or Trick Up the Sleeve. It's just kind of to give you a little bit of extra ammo to fill where you don't have one of the other perks to go in yet. So I'll leave this up for you guys to kind of take a look at real quick and decide if any of these will work good for you. There's a ton of perks out there. These are the ones that I was able to find, and I just thought these were the most relevant to this. But you guys play around with the different perks, see if you can find a better combination, see if you get something that works best for your playstyle. This is more catered to mine. Alright, so for this tip, you are going to want to go to the Canyon of the Grand Obelisk, and you can do this on your first playthrough the area. I haven't done it again on a different day to see if it works again. I doubt it does. But there is a guaranteed legendary on your first run through doing this, and like I said, since I've already done it, I'm probably not going to get one, but it's really easy what you have to do. So there's 3 different pedestals that you're going to hit, and they don't seem like they do anything when you first do them. But as you progress through this area, you're going to run into a door that'll have 2 symbols on it, because we're only going to be able to hit 2 before we get to the door, and then there's a 3rd one past that. And once you activate, I think we're actually going to have to fight all these guys. Once you activate the 3rd one, you're going to go back to this door. It's going to be open, and there's going to be an Outriders chest in it. Alright, so here's the other pedestal.
What's this for?
We're going to go ahead and activate that. And again, we're going to have some weird sparks come up, and it's going to be magical. Look at that. Open this box while we're in here, too. Okay. And we're going to go to a checkpoint. We're going to teleport down to the next one. We can actually skip a small chunk. If you've already played through this, you'll be able to do the same. If not, you'll have to go through the rest of the section. And it's funny because it's literally just below where we're at. Let me just come through down here to the monolith. And again, we're gonna have to clear this out. There we go. Alright. So we're gonna activate this pedestal. It'll open up the big door here for us. We're gonna run to the other side of the room. You can see the pedestal from here. It's glowing over there. We're gonna go hit that, and again, if it's your first time through, you'll have to play out the whole sequence of events so you can come back and do this before you move on. I do recommend, if it is your first time going through, waiting until you hit max tier, max world tier 15, and hitting max level so that you can just get a legendary that's already maxed out. You don't have to sink a ton of materials into it. Now, if you're just doing it so you can get tier 3 perks, that works too. You can do this, you can get your legendary, get that tier 3 perk, you can use it for a little while until it's no longer useful or not worth it to upgrade anymore. Do what you want. But this is just to get you that free legendary. So that was our 3rd one, and then we gotta go backtrack a little bit here. And I'll show you where that door is at. So you're gonna run back over here the way we came. Run up the hill a little ways here. And the door is right around the corner. Right here. And if you did it right, you hit all 3 pedestals, then you will have 3 symbols in here forming a circle, and you'll be able to activate this pedestal.
The room's on this door. Have I seen this before?
It opens up this cavern here, and you get a little quest icon. And boom, we're gonna collect this. And like I said, I already got the legendary, so we got a blue drop out of it, which sucks. We didn't even get a purple out of it. But the first time you do this, you will for sure get a legendary. So another thing you can do that took literally an entire playthrough to figure out, and it actually had to be pointed out to me by Nasty Nate. But while you're zoomed in, and at least on PC, if you click in the middle mouse button, you can change your zoom. A lot of you probably already know that, and you're like, yeah, we know, thanks, pointing out the obvious. I had no clue. So I'm sure there's at least one other person out there that didn't know. Hopefully that helps you out, because it helped me out a ton with aiming at distance and everything, or up close. It's huge. Alright, so we're going to rapid fire a couple of these. First one is going to be for your weapons and everything. You want to make sure you're using complementing abilities. So things that are going to help stack and increase your damage output. Another thing that you're going to want to do is get to your world tier 15 as soon as possible. It is absolutely worth it having it on tier 15. From the bonuses alone, you're going to get the rarity modifier increased to 500%. Legendary drop rate modifier is going up 425%. You're also going to get a drop for each one of these that you get. So I think starting at world tier 12, you get a your first legendary drop, and then once you get up to 15, each one of these is going to give you another legendary drop. And weapon, I think they're all weapons. I don't think I got any gear out of that. And you're also getting a titanium resource pack, so that's going to help with upgrading that gear as well. Alright, so another tip is to constantly be upgrading your gear. It is super cheap to do, except for if you're stepping up rarity. It's a little more expensive. So like we'll take this for instance. If we want to improve this, it's going to cost 179 titanium. That's kind of expensive. If you're doing any boss farming and stuff like that, you'll get a lot of titanium out of it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so you can actually pick your tier 2 perk. So what I mean by upgrading your gear, make sure that it is at your current level. So my current max level is 40. This gun's at 40. That is going to make sure that the damage output stays at the same level that the enemies you're going to be fighting are, because your weapon level is, as long as you're keeping it up with the world tier, is going to stay at the increase of that world tier, if that makes sense, the enemy level of that world tier. So like world tier 15 enemies are plus 12 levels, so your gear is also going to be allowed to be plus 12 levels. So make sure that your gear is at that plus 12 levels at all times. That'll help increase your damage output and your survivability, armor, everything. It's super helpful. Doing your mods on your gear. Can't stress this enough. If you get a new piece of gear that you really like, and it has one good mod, that's the main thing. You want at least one good mod, because you can switch out one bad mod. Even on a legendary, you can switch out one bad mod. And you can put, you know, whatever the hell you want on there that's going to help complement your build, or whatever you're replacing, you know, whatever is going to help that out. For your attributes here, you can go through, and as you break down gear, you're going to get different shards. And for this, I've been kind of saving up, because I find myself switching gear pieces out as I'm progressing. Still, I'm not max world tier, and I am finding gear pieces that are actually giving me bonuses in areas where I need them more than what I currently have. And so I haven't been doing this, but you can if you'd like to. It'll increase whatever attribute the particular piece of gear has on it. It's going to use whatever this amount is here in shards, so out of your shard pool, for each of the different ones they've already broken down. And that can be big. I'm going to save that until my end game, once I have my final build. And those are kind of the main things you want to focus on, for especially your armor. For weapons now, you can swap variants. So if you get a particular variant that you do not like, so for me, I like the standard variant of the double gun more than the demolisher and more than the burst fire. I don't like burst fire in pretty much any game. I never have. But what you can do is just switch the variant. You don't have to go through and farm until you get that particular gun that you like. Sniper rifles are the same thing. Now you can't do it on legendaries, but you can. Let's see, I don't have a sniper. This is a rifle though, so we'll use this. So just pay attention, pick guns that work for your playstyle. You can modify them however you want. I just make sure that you're modifying them, because it's going to help your gameplay significantly. All right, so for this last tip, you can switch shoulder view. If you're on PC, I don't know what the control is for your console, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, but on PC, if you click your middle mouse button while you're ADS, you will switch shoulders. Again, most of you probably already know this, and I'm an idiot. There's probably a couple of people out there that also didn't know this, and it would have been super helpful, because there's been a few times where I was like in cover, and it was just kind of awkward, because I couldn't switch shoulders. I didn't know I could switch shoulders, so that's a super helpful tip. All right, so that's the last tip, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you're able to find something that helps boost your gameplay and your play style. And if you have any kind of tips or tricks that were not mentioned in here and you want to see it in a future video, go ahead and leave a comment below and I'll make sure you're featured in it. We'll go through and get it recorded and get the word out there so that it can help other players in Outriders. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. And if you're not already, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. I post updates on when I'm going to stream, when new videos are coming out, if there's an adjustment to the stream schedule, so on and so forth. So thanks again so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.